Jorez is a fallen angel and the 64th of the 72 spirits of Solomon. He's also called Flareous and Flareous, and some describe him as a male, others describe her as female. According to the Goejia, the lesser key of Solomon the king, Jorez is a great duke and appears like a leopard, terrible and strong. But after a while, at the command of the wizard, witch, or exorcist, or sorcerer, he puts on a human shape with flaming eyes and a fiery countenance, a terrible countenance. According to the Goetia, he gives true answers of all things past, present, and future, but he must be commanded in a triangle to do so. Otherwise, his answers would be lies and would be intended to beguile the exorcist. According to the Goetia, he destroys and burns up the enemies of the exorcist, and also will help the magician be resistant to temptations by any other spirit or otherwise. VK Jahannam lists on his WordPress site that Jorez has the element of fire and also air and earth, the tarot 6 of swords and 2 of pentacles, gematria of 380, is nocturnal primarily, and the colors green, purple, orange, and red, and the direction south, and the planet Venus and Mercury. And there's more information on his site in regards to Jorez. According to Connolly, in the complete book of demonology, Jorez is one of the 9 demonic divinities. And there's a lot of information in her book regarding the 9 demonic divinities. According to Connolly, in demonology, practitioners honor 10 deities in the tree of life, which include the 9 divinities and the self. And the 9 demonic divinities are Satan, Lucifer, Flareous, Leviathan, Belial, Varine, Amdusias, Unser, and Euronymous. She describes Flareous, and Flareous is another name for Jorez, as a fire elemental. She lists the N, the demonic N, which is Gonic, Tassa, Fubin, Flareous, which I'll also put at the end. The direction is still south, the colors red and orange, the month June, the season summer, and there's also a visual description of Flareous as being a tall man having long red hair and red eyes. There's more information in the complete book of demonology about Flareous, also known as Jorez. and his connection to the demonic divine and the tree of life. Now, there is one thing I want to point out about this description from her book. She writes that Flareous represents that special fire or light that we all come from, and transforms, our consciousness in such a way. In Demons of Magic, Jorez is attributed to some special powers. And what I like about this book is that it gives a very detailed ritual that you can do when you're trying to accomplish something in particular. And giving the special powers of the demons helps to narrow down, which spirit you may want to work with. And Jorez is attributed to bringing justice to an enemy, including weakening and gradually destroying the business of an enemy. Jorez has multiple attributes, multiple jurisdictions, not just vengeance. And you can read about that on the blog of V.K. Jehanam. He has a page where he has a very detailed description of his findings with Jorez. Working with Jorez is noted to change the witch's personality, transforming her or him into a more savvy predator, perhaps awakening some predatory instincts or sharpening intuition. Jorez also works in astral planes and helps the magician learn to ascend into the astral and shapeshift, and also to detect weakness or insecurities in others. Other jurisdictions are nature, learning the quality of stones and natural things, animal bones. Also, scrying is another jurisdiction of Jorez, learning about divinity, cosmology, angels. Jorez is said to rule over new beginnings, justice, action, baptism, love, and balance. Jorez is said to know all secrets. Jorez is described as ruling things that are scholarly and, educational pursuits, focus, concentration, professionalism, discipline, attention to detail. Jorez is described as being able to raise the IQ level of a sorcerer, of a magician or witch, and to improve the memories of that witch. Jorez can shape-shift the astral body of the witch, and is also a great ally in astral warfare. And I say she because Jorez can appear as male or female. She is said to be able to turn spirits against a victim. So these are very powerful and useful, attributes of the spirit. Now, personally, I have worked with Jorez, and I have noticed certain changes. I have noticed that I have a better perception of others, more accurate than before. And also an improved response to being attacked. Before I started working with spirits, I wasn't very good in combat with others. There's many types of combat. There's like mental combat. There's not just physical combat, but there's mental combat, especially in the workplace or, in environments like a college or a university or in those type of places where you have a lot of social interaction. And by working with spirits, I've been able to what I've noticed is subtle improvements in just being able to respond better to, someone choosing to attack me in some way, not that it happens so often, but, it happens to everyone, at some point. And sometimes, we don't know what to do. I used to kind of freeze in those situations. I would freeze, which is something that prey does, well, you fight or there's fight or flight or freeze. And I would have a very, I would freeze a lot in certain situations. I would feel so uncomfortable, but working with spirits has helped me to be more comfortable in those type of situations that may be considered hostile. And I do believe it's due to working with spirits like Jorez. And the thing is like whenever you invoke a spirit, contact a spirit, or, meditate on the end of a spirit, you do these type of things, you are unlocking a part of your consciousness to that spirit, allowing that to come into you. And it leaves an effect. And it can leave a bigger effect if you want it to, And so that's why in many cultures, ancient cultures, some worshipers would practice possession. They wanted to be possessed by the spirit that they, worshipped or worked with or served in some way. Now, in demonolatry, I did find that as Connolly, she wrote that evocation, in her opinion, was disrespectful to the spirit. and instead she recommended invocation. Of course, I think it's up to the practitioner what they want to do. But I did enjoy working with Jorez, which I worked with Jorez to bring justice to, an enemy. And sometimes doing this type of work is a better way to attack an enemy. Some people are so good at doing things that are harmful to others and getting away with it. They've really had time to practice. I've met people like that so many times, especially older people, people over the age of 50, they've had a lot of time to practice, their arts, their dark arts, whatever that is. This is just my experience. People who are much older and they're in corporate America, These are people who they've had years of experience, and sometimes when you're up against someone like that, you may not know how to play chess with those people, but see, these spirits can, when you invoke these spirits, when you work with these spirits, their divine intelligence gets into you. And suddenly you might find, oh, wait a minute, I'm a little better at dealing with this kind of stuff now. So for now, that is pretty much all I want to say about it. Now, I haven't worked with Jorez extensively, but even that one time that I did, it was a very powerful manifestation that I felt, and it had a big impact on my intelligence, I would say. So I do agree with a lot of what V.K. Johannem has said, and S. Connolly, and some of the other people who have, written about Jorez and, worked with Jorez and all of that. So, all right. I guess that's all I have to say about it for now. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you another time.